Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshu Nam Hitarthaya Tattva Bodho Vidhiyate. So in Tattva Bodha, so far we have seen about the qualifications and qualifications of a student, Shishya, and then we studied about the Jiva, the individual, the nature of the Jiva we went through. See, scriptures are only needed and they explain to us what is not obvious. So, we go with our perception, we go with our feelings, emotions, we go with our thoughts and take them for granted. Scriptures say, question that. And they question that and they go beyond these things. We can say all these things are a fact, isn't it? You see, all these things are there, these are facts. But truth is beyond facts. You need to penetrate through the facts and reveal the truth. And that's why you need the scriptures. This is what the great masters did. And they help us in that direction. Unfortunately, people take these scriptures as if it's like some moral and ethical books, you know. While when you inquire the truth, the interesting thing is you will also start becoming ethical and moral. But when you are ethical and following the morality properly doesn't necessarily mean that you even tried venturing into the truth, and doesn't mean that you know the truth. So when we look at ourselves, this individual is having this body, mind, intellect. Are you really this? Because this is our conditioning today. We think and believe that we are this individual. So we take this for granted. We are attached to this body, this mind, this intellect, and we are attached to the body from which this came, the parents, and the bodies that came from the same set of parents, and they came from their parents and their siblings, this, that. We are attached. And as a result, we are going through sorrow. So therefore, we are asking how to get out of this sorrow. Vedanta says, listen, you first know the truth about yourself. But you are saying, I am suffering. We will discuss about suffering later. But first let's discuss that word, I. Who's this I? So that is the inquiry we did. Adi Shankaracharya D, Adi Shankaracharya Ji did that inquiry upon the individual, who this individual is. So then he talked about, you know, the three bodies, gross, subtle, causal, the three states of consciousness, waking, dream, deep sleep, and then the five sheaths, food sheath, white layer sheath, mind sheath, intellect sheath, and bliss sheath. And said, Atma, you are beyond all this. And first he negated all this, and then he said, you are that consciousness. What is that? Sat Chit Ananda Swarupam. Your nature is Tat. Sorry, Sat. Your nature is Sat. Existence. That which always is. What is Sat? He said, Kalatrayepi Tishtati iti Sat. So that which existed in the past continues to exist in the present and will continue to exist in future is called Sat. And then he said Chit. We discussed all these things, so I'm not going into the details again. Chit means consciousness. He said that is Jnana Swarupam. This body, mind, intellect is Jada Swarupam. But today, now, while I'm discussing this Vedanta or anything for that matter, I say I'm a conscious person. I'm sentient. I'm not insentient. But if any part of my body is detached from this, it will not have consciousness. If I cut my finger and throw it down, it will not have consciousness. And yet, now I have this consciousness. So now the question is, like science says, we are all a combination of atoms. And one particular combination, strangely, there seems to be consciousness. So they believe that it is part, product, and property of the matter. Consciousness is the part, product, and property of the matter. Vedanta says, listen, consciousness is not the part, property, and product of the matter. It is beyond. And that consciousness, the what? Tattvamasi. That's your original nature. And it is self-illumining. You don't need any other light to illuminate. It is self-illumining. Now, in the Vedanta treatise book, Swamiji has this topic, theory of perception and then illusion. This comes in part C. In fact, these two are lectures by Swami Ramtirtha. Of course, they are also from our scriptures only. None of these lectures given by any great masters would be something of their own creation. It will be in their own language. It will be original in that sense. But all are the concepts that has already been explored. So I already told you there's a text called Drishya Viveka. The perceiver, perceived, discrimination, the individual world discrimination. Now, what they are doing is, they analyze this world, this individual, from the subject-object relationship. Now, when you see that way, anything that can be objectified is object. So when I'm seeing the world, I say I am seeing the world. World is the object. I am the subject. So when you say you are the subject, what is the subject? Is the eyes the subject? Because you're seeing through the eyes. But eyes also become our object. You can't see your eyes without the help of the mirror, but you can touch it and you can sense that I'm seeing through these eyes. So that means these eyes become my object. Then, if the eyes are object, then can the mind be the subject? Mind is nothing but emotions, feelings. We are also aware of the feelings, emotions. They become the object. Thoughts, again, thoughts become the object. So, the awareness, the consciousness is beyond thoughts, emotions, and perceptions. That consciousness is the real subject. So we say, in every one of us, there is this consciousness. Now the next question is, the consciousness in Lakshmi Narayan, the consciousness in Subodh, the consciousness in Rajiv, the consciousness in Arun, are they different consciousness? Swami Ramtirtha beautifully explains. He says, listen, if you say they are different, how do you know the difference between any two things? Only from their qualities. You say this pen is different from this paper due to its qualities. Now in consciousness there is no qualities. So only a substance has qualities. Consciousness is not a substance. It has no qualities. It is beyond qualities. So therefore, there is no difference between the consciousness in you, the consciousness in me, the consciousness in everybody. It is the same. It's only one homogeneous mass of consciousness. So, that consciousness was there yesterday, is there today, will continue to be there tomorrow. So, we say then in deep sleep, the consciousness is not there. I'm not conscious. See, you can't say in deep sleep consciousness is not there because there is nothing for the consciousness to be aware of. From this limited level, we only know the conditioned consciousness. If I ask you, are you conscious? You will say, of what, sir? Of what? So I have to say, are you conscious of this table? Are you conscious of this paper, pencil, etc.? Then you say yes. So we only know the conditioned consciousness, which is conditioned, the consciousness conditioned by some object or the other, the thought or emotions or perception. In deep sleep state, these thoughts, emotions and perceptions, they've gone into unmanifestation. So, therefore, the conditioned consciousness is not there. That doesn't mean the consciousness is not there. Consciousness is always there. It is eternal. It is all-pervading. It pervades waking, dream, deep sleep states. It's the same consciousness that illumines your waking state, that illumines your dream state, and that illumines your deep sleep. Because you say in deep sleep, I'm conscious of nothing. That you say when you wake up, obviously. But you are conscious of nothing. That's why you say, I had a deep sleep, no thoughts. Who's reporting it? That consciousness is reporting it. That consciousness is your real self, which always exists. And that consciousness is also called as Ananda, bliss, Satchit Ananda Swarupa. You understand? So, what is this Ananda? How do we say that Ananda is our original nature? Ananda means Sukha Swarupa. All this we have discussed, but since we discussed it last class, just a little bit elaborating on it. I didn't elaborate on the qualities of the Sishya because we have done it enough times. Then the negations, I didn't go into detail. I'm going into details of this existence consciousness and bliss a little bit. How do you say this is of Ananda Swarupam? When you were in deep sleep, nothing other than consciousness was there. So therefore you report in the waking state that I am conscious of nothing. I'm conscious of nothing. You were in bliss, Ananda. The moment something comes, agitation starts. In dream also there is some disturbances. In waking state, there's no need to talk about it. So, in deep sleep, nothing except consciousness is there. You are in bliss. That is one way of looking at it. Other thing is, we said, Ananda has to be your real nature, because in nature, everything will have stress till it reaches its original state. So we gave the example of the coiled spring. You compress it to 1 foot. If its original height is 5, you compress it to 1 foot, there will be pressure. The pressure will go completely only when you release it to 5 feet. So, till it reaches its original height, there will be pressure. Once it reaches the original height, no pressure. Similarly, in all of us, there is constant pressure for happiness, bliss. We will not rest content. Whatever we may get, how much ever we may get. Not just the kings, even the emperors who had so many kings under them, even they were chasing happiness. Vedanta says that is because your original nature is that happiness, that bliss, which is Akhanda Ananda, which is unbroken, intercepted, uninterrupted bliss. That's your original nature.
But may I ask a question here?
Yes, please.
In deep sleep, when there is nothingness, Vedanta is saying that that's the blissful state. There is bliss in nothingness, in deep sleep state. Now,
that is why it's called as Ananda Maya Kosha. Yes, continue.
Yeah, so on what basis do they say, on what's the logic? There is no experience in nothingness.
You are in bliss, no?
Sorry?
When you had deep sleep, Arunji, you were in bliss.
How do I know I was in bliss?
So
nothingness.
You report it when you wake up.
I reported that I don't know anything about that state.
No. Let's say you have a lot of loans.
Yeah.
Bank is going on sending you notice. Notice 1, notice 2, notice 3. so much of agitation you are going through because the business is not doing well. It's not that you have bad intention not to pay or anything like that. You want to pay, but business is doing bad. So they are saying, Arey Baba, listen, if you don't pay, we will take over your this thing, that thing, So you are going through tremendous stress.
Mm.
Baba, I want to, and you are not able to sleep.
Yeah.
Somehow I want to go to sleep, do something. So either people go to alcohol and things like that, or they take pills and all that. So what are they doing? They're subsiding the mind temporarily. Right? Why? To be in peace, to be in bliss. And they cannot be in that state for long. Alcohol will have effect for some time only. Similarly, medicine will have some effect only for some time. Then again, they wake up, agitation starts. So, why are you doing that? To get back to that bliss, to get back to that peace. So, when thoughts are not there, the desires are not there, you're in peace. Only when desire comes, when thoughts come, the possibility of the thought not getting fulfilled itself is an agitation. And when the thought is fulfilled by an object, that fear of losing it is there. India has won the World Cup second time. Our problem बढ़ जाएगा. Now, continuously nobody has won T20 World Cup. India has won.
Yeah.
Now, Arey Baba, we have won it. We should not lose. Third time, it should be like hat-trick. They'll start. I'm telling you. Press and everybody will slowly, people will start. So the tension shuru ho jata hai. People. So, agitation starts the moment thoughts and desires come. When the thoughts and desires completely eliminated, you will be in absolute ananda. That is self-realization. But relatively, self-realization cannot be explained. It can only be experienced. Experience also is a word we are using, borrowing, but I hope you understand. I cannot explain the realization, enlightenment. They're trying their best. So they're giving comparison. What is the comparison? The closest they can get is this deep sleep, where the thoughts are all unmanifest. So you are in bliss.
So that bliss in deep sleep is similar to the bliss of self-realization, or same as bliss of self-realization.
You see, in deep sleep, that bliss is a conditioned bliss by
that conditioned bliss.
Thoughts are in seed form. Okay. Self-realization mein thoughts are completely exhausted. There are no, see, the ego that I am the doer, that I am the enjoyer, is in unmanifest state in deep sleep. In the case of an enlightened person, there is no I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. It has been conquered by the knowledge that I am akarta abhokta.
Yeah, so in deep sleep you're still conditioned, and in self-realization you go beyond conditioning.
Yes, but the bliss that you experience in sleep is because it's like a very thin film, transparent film.
Yeah.
थोड़ा बड़ा थिक हो जाता है ड्रीम में, और बड़ा thickest is the waking state. So the bliss is only reflecting in the dream, deep sleep also. That's why we said, whenever you experience any bliss in the waking state, when you experience any object, the bliss is not coming from that object. It is the bliss that is in the Atma, or the original nature, that is getting reflected through that temporarily. The explanation was, you remember, in all our classes we discussed this. You are peaceful now. Just an example, I don't think so you smoke, but just an example. Till you get the thought of cigarette. Suddenly, in the happy mind, thought of cigarette comes. Cigarette, 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 cigarette. And then after some time you cannot keep quiet. You go take a cigarette and smoke. You feel peaceful, happy. And you think cigarette brought the happiness. So Vedanta says, listen, if cigarette brought the happiness, it should bring happiness to everybody. There are fellows who run away from cigarette, isn't it? I told you many years ago, I used to be in marketing in engineering field. So we used to visit big industries for discussions. So, this public sector companies, the chairman, the managing director, they have a huge table. On the table there was a big placard. It said, want to smoke? Please do, but kindly do not exhale. Hates smoking. He runs away from people who smoke. So he's put that there. If cigarette is giving joy, happiness, should give to everybody. Why so many people are running away from it? Number one. Number two, it should give happiness to you all the time you contact. If it is inherent in that. But what happens? Second cigarette, happiness reduce ho gaya. Third hour come. Fourth, fifth, both come. Nth cigarette, no pleasure. But you are denied displeasure. So neutralization ho jata hai. So that also shows that the same object is not giving the same pleasure, happiness every time you contact. So, but at the same time, I'm getting some happiness. Where is it coming from? What is happening? You see, the happiness that you were in before is disturbed the moment the thought of cigarette comes and you get agitated. The desire makes you get agitated till you get that object. And once you get the object, the contact with the object for which you were craving only removes the agitation temporarily. Like the children throw tantrums. I want this toy, I want this toy. And till you give that toy, they'll create a havoc. So, like that, you give that object, particular object, the agitation is removed. You are temporarily coming in contact with the bliss that is always there. But you are wrongly attributing it to the cigarette, to the chocolate, to the alcohol, to anything. Bicycle, motorcycle, car, everything, whatever. So, you are thinking, when I contacted, I got it. So it's coming from there. No. It's coming, which is there within you. But the thing is, you're temporarily satisfied. Again, the mind projects some other thought. Or thought for the same object, which runs and becomes desire. Or thought for some other object, which runs and becomes desires. Therefore, little bliss you are experiencing here and there, and foolishly thinking it is coming from the object. It is actually the bliss of the Atma only. So in Vedanta we say, in this world everything becomes attractive only for the sake of Atma. So which means what? Atma is what you like the most, isn't it? If it is not going to give you pleasure, you throw it. So you is more valuable to you, important to you, and you are the real happiness. You don't want to lose that.
Yeah. So your real nature is happiness, and therefore you're attracted to things which give you happiness. But by mistake, you think that.
No. One statement. You said
Hmm.
real nature is happiness.
Real nature is
Therefore, you
happiness.
are attracted to things that give you happiness. No, that is wrong statement. Your real nature is happiness. You do not know that now.
Correct. You
And
don't know that.
you, therefore, out of ignorance, identify with this limited body, mind, intellect
Correct.
as because of this limitation, there's a void which
Yeah.
makes you run, make the thoughts run towards the world to fulfill that void. And when it
Correct.
runs, it becomes desire.
Yeah.
Then you run after the worldly objects for happiness, thinking that the happiness is there, but there is no happiness.
There is no happiness.
This is what Vedanta explains. The third
Yeah.
part. So I only explained all these things to say, in the waking state, you are not in bliss. You run, get an object and experience that bliss. Similarly, in dream also, things like that happens. But in deep sleep, you are in bliss. Because, so you ask the question, is it the bliss of the Atma? Yes. But it is conditioned by the thin, transparent film called unmanifest vasanas. That's why it's called Anandamaya Kosha. But you are closest to the Atma there.
And to remove that thin layer, you have to get back to waking state.
You can only remove that in waking state.
Only in the waking state.
If at all waking state has some importance, it
Yeah.
is from this angle only. Otherwise, dream state also is temporary, waking state also is passing, fleeting.
Mm.
So that's why we say, if you consider the dream state as illusion and give certain logics and reason, you have no better logic or reason to believe that this waking state is any more real. Same logic reason will fit in for the waking state also. So, you say that means this waking state also is an illusion. But only in the waking state, your faculties are fully matured, fully woken up. So, only with the fully woken up faculties can you have Vedanta class, inquire, Tattva Bodha, and get into the discussion, gain the knowledge, and slowly de identify with body, mind, intellect, and send your thoughts towards that consciousness and get rid of vasanas through karma, bhakti, gyan, come to dhyan, meditation, and realize. All this can happen only in waking state. You can't do this in dream state.
Yeah. So this is where actually I've been struggling a little bit, you know. And while in waking state, it's easier to understand that dream state is fleeting, it's temporary, it is etc. Because I'm in waking state and I've woken up from dream state and I have some idea of dream state. I have awareness of dream state. Now, and based on that, I'm extending that logic that what do I have a reason to believe that the waking state is a real state? And what reason do I have based on my experience of dream state? Now, that's why I always struggle. And because why I'm extrapolating it to waking state, right? Because I don't know the state of self-realization. If I knew the
Don't worry
state
about
of
all.
self-realization, I could have said that. So I'm believing all the sages and saints what they're saying is true. I'm making that assumption.
No, I'll explain.
Yeah.
We have seen this in VT book itself.
Yeah.
You see, if you say that as a waker, dream is not real. Why? Because it's not there now.
Correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
So, what is the definition of reality you are giving? It should be
Past.
there always.
Existed in the past. It is existing.
Reality,
Yeah.
that which existed in the past,
Yeah.
exists now, will continue to exist in future.
Right.
And you say dream. Was there only last night. When I woke up, it's gone. So it's not real. Now, the same logic you apply to waking state. Vedanta says, was this waking state there when you were in deep sleep?
No.
Was this waking state there when you were in dream? So the same logic fits in for waking state also. So that's why I said, with certain logics, when you negate the dream state as unreal, you have no better logic or reason to believe that this waking state is any more real. Because this also is not existing. But as a waker, when you project and see, when I was in deep sleep, where were all these people? Where was all these loans and profits, losses? Nothing. Now, when I wake up, suddenly it's come. So, this also is not permanent. So, when I understand this, I will say it's unreal. But I can't say it's unreal. Why? Because now I'm experiencing. I will be stupid to reject what I'm experiencing. So, you can't call it unreal. You cannot call it real. Because reality is that which exists in the past, present, and future. Then what to call it? So Vedanta says mithya. Mithya means it is not satya, it is not asat. Asat means that which doesn't exist at all. That's why we give the example in the Vedanta. Tail of a monkey, sat, it exists. Tail of a man, does it exist? Horns of a man, does it exist? No. So horns of a man, asat. Tail of a monkey, sat. Horns of the bull, sat. Tusks of elephant, sat. Tusk of human being, asat. But that way you cannot call this world asat.
Yeah. So to this
world
point
is
also,
there.
yes, sir. I agree. To this point also, it's fine that this world is asat, not real,
No. Again, I'm repeating, waking world
a waking world.
is not asat till you realize the self.
That's right. I was coming to that.
This
So,
waking world, I'm repeating very carefully, this waking world is not asat till you realize the self. This waking world, which you believe is sat, when questioned based on the reality definition with which you rejected the dream state, then this waking state also cannot be accepted as reality. So you cannot call it sat also. You cannot call it sat.
yeah,
You cannot say it is asat. Then what is it? So Vedanta says it is mithya.
yeah,
Asat and sat cannot coexist. Till my head is sat, उसके बाद पूरा my whole body asat. ऐसा नहीं है. Whether it is sat or asat, there is no sat asat mixture. So therefore Vedanta says this is mithya. Means what? It is seeming to exist.
but it doesn't exist.
It is dependent on something for its existence. What is that it is dependent on? It is dependent on that consciousness for its existence. That consciousness is Sat. If you read the theory of perception, see, these are little deep and
Yeah,
see, the thing is, in our these kind of classes, you have students like you who've been studying Vedanta for so many years, gone through so many subjects with us. There are one or two people who are new also. So
yeah,
for them, it's like a bouncer, So I'm being very careful, therefore, to see.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
no
No, I
problem.
think sorry for
No,
the
no,
long
no, it's not your
digress.
fault. It's not your fault. You should ask. We
We'll
should discuss these things. For those people who think it's a bouncer, just don't worry.
yeah, I know.
That's
I think we can continue with our
no, no,
flow.
no, no. I'll come to this. In Vedanta, these kind of things will keep on be discussing till we develop clarity. So in Tamil they say Archamavi Arigara means same atta that was you know a person was grinding, same thing is going on grinding, they say. So like that, the same thing we keep discussing. So when you say that, you have a difficulty. So what Vedanta says is, this is not asat. It is not sat. Don't have that same, that exaggerated value to this world, because you cannot call this real anymore. This will be declared as asat to you when you wake up.
Mhm.
You realize the self. Till then, when you are in waking state, you deal with the waking state with a pinch of salt. So you will not be attached. You understand, okay, I'm here now. Now I'm playing the role of Vedanta teacher from 8 to 9. Okay. So I have my role, my objective, everything. Accordingly, I'll play my role. But today I'm not saying like that. This is very real. And my students are not thinking that I'm good, great. So I get agitated. Listen, this is also not something that you can call it absolutely real. So we say this is not Paramarthika Satyam, this
Yeah.
is Vyavaharika Satyam.
Mm.
This is not absolute reality, this is practical sense-made reality when you are in waking state. So without attachment, you continue doing whatever you have to do. Slowly, slowly, the vasanas gets removed. When all vasanas are removed, then you go to the higher state. It's not a state, it is turiya. It is not a conditioned state, it is beyond all conditionings. When you realize the self, then see the beauty is, I was about to say, when you realize the self, you can say, this world is asat.
Mm.
Do you get it? I don't
Yeah.
know. But actually, when you wake up
Mm.
to that fourth,
Fourth state.
to say that from there, this state is asat, also stupidity.
Mm.
Will you discuss about something that doesn't exist at all? Huh?
Yeah, because
Even in
it
your
is
thoughts.
you are beyond thought, no?
हाँ
In that
तो
thought ही
something
नहीं है.
हाँ तो क्या डिस्कस करेंगे so
Mm.
if you are saying asat means to that extent you are giving importance to the world.
Mm.
So this is what beautifully in Ashtavakra Gita says. Ashtavakra says, therefore the truth, reality is beyond sat and asat.
Yeah.
Even to call this world asat, there's no pith or substance. When you keep talking like that, you are giving some importance to the world. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Something that doesn't exist at all. Who will discuss? So when we say the conversation between two wakers named as Lakshmi Narayan and Arun, then we say when you realize this world is asat. But when
Mm.
you actually realize, no discussion about world, nothing. It is even beyond asat. Who will discuss about something doesn't exist? So anyway, so Vedanta only says that you have no better logic or reason to believe that this world is any more real if you rejected upon the same logic reason the dream state.
Mm.
So then you work in the world with a pinch of salt. Then when you wake up, you declare.
Yeah.
What is the difficulty? I don't understand. Where are you having the difficulty?
No, it's just that I think this is a concept wherein you can keep on discussing,
Hmm.
but I suppose it is beyond discussion, right? At the end of the day, it is you have to experience that. You have to get to that state. You can't discuss it beyond a point.
Absolutely.
And until such time you believe in the profound wisdom of
1 minute.
sages and saints
No,
and
no, no, no. 1 minute.
realized people.
1 minute. It is belief,
Mm.
but it is not blind belief.
It is not blind belief.
No,
I
no.
agree.
So there's a difference.
Yeah.
Because, oh, that means what? We'll have to just believe what they're saying. No.
No.
Giving logics and reasons like this.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
So, based on this, you have a belief.
Yeah.
That is called Shraddha.
Yes.
That is called Shraddha. Otherwise, it is Kushraddha,
Hmm.
blind belief. You understand?
Yeah, and I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
Completely agree. And then you have to go beyond logic. Finally, eventually,
absolutely. Because
eventually.
logic is at the level of the intellect.
Yeah, you have to go beyond logic.
You have to go beyond intellect.
Mm.
But
I agree.
with this logic and all, what happens when you analyze and understand, you develop more detachment in the waking state.
Mm.
Detachment is not indifference again. When you continue working with that detachment, you drop the already collected vasanas and you don't collect fresh vasanas. Then only you get back to the self. Then
Right.
that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
So, oh, till then I have to just swallow. No, you're not swallowing.
Alan, I agree. Yes, we're not following.
Ah,
And no, there is a logic to that.
exactly.
And but to get the
Now another
knowledge,
thing,
the
another thing,
eventual knowledge, to get to eventual knowledge, you have to be there to
another
be
thing.
in that state.
Correct. Another thing, Arunji.
See,
Whether you get, okay, what if I don't get there? Next question.
it's okay.
No, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Why? Actually speaking, it should not matter to you.
Yeah, yeah. I
It
agree.
should matter to you deeply from one angle. From another angle, it should not matter to you at all. I'll explain that why. You see, what this understanding logic does is instantly there's an acceptance, there is a detachment with which I get relative peace and
Yeah,
happiness. And I'm able to develop harmony with the world, harmony with the things as it is. These are all profound things while I'm living. You understand? With this understanding, what happens as my understanding in these concepts deepen, I get tremendous peace. And then I also develop harmony with the world. And I'm detached and I'm functioning, relative happiness is there. That is immediate benefit. This is more important. That matters. When you continue slowly, slowly, finally, whether in this Janma or whichever Janma, you realize, let it happen. So, that's why we say, as you begin to understand Vedanta, slowly, slowly, your sorrows starts diminishing. Agitation starts reducing. If you
yeah,
actually understand it from that angle. So that
yeah,
that matters a lot.
yeah, absolutely. So I don't know whether it's a technically correct, but can we say that we are in our lifetime while we are living, we are moving uh, through the state of relative realization. It's not absolute realization is right at the end, but if you're progressing on that path, if your happiness is increasing, agitation is reducing, we are moving in that direction.
Yes.
And can we call it relative realization? Just to
No,
get some
see,
directionally, we are in that.
I have nothing against calling
It,
it relative realization,
it's just a
but
word.
honestly speaking, either you are realized or not realized. There is no in between.
There's no in between. Yeah.
Please understand it. I do understand from where you're coming. Therefore, I said,
Mhm.
okay, I'll go along with you and say, okay, you can call it relative realization. इसमें कोई relative absolute नहीं है.
It's नहीं है.
Either you are realized or not realized.
Yeah. अच्छा, ठीक है.
You understand? थोड़ा realize हो गया ऐसा नहीं है.
अच्छा, ठीक है. थोड़ा मतलब you are getting closer to self, and therefore I'm saying that you are realized little bit of self. You're
That's why
getting
I said
closer to it.
I do understand from where you're coming. Therefore, I said I cooperate and say, okay. But strictly speaking,
Yeah, I agree.
in other words, what you're saying is, I'm realizing little bit that it is not snake, it is rope.
Ah,
Are, how is it possible? Either you see say snake or you see rope. Little bit I am seeing it as rope. Little bit I am seeing it as snake. ऐसा नहीं होता है. So that's why I said in realization there is no relative realization. Though we say partial realization, absolute realization, total realization, all that is okay. I agree. I understand. But strictly when you go deeply, either you are woken up or you are
yeah.
sleeping.
Yeah, I think you kind of got digressed a little bit. We can
Ah,
come back to.
okay. So now that ananda is your original state. That's why you will not rest content till you get there. All these discussions we have already had about ananda. Now the discussion is moving towards the world. When the individual discussion is over, Jiva discussion over, then the world discussion comes. Jagat. Then the cause of this world discussion comes, which it talks about as Ishvara. Right. So Adhikaritvam, Jiva, Jagat. Now we are getting into the discussion, which is universe. And when we talk about universe, this concept of Maya is introduced. In Advaita Vedanta, this concept of Maya is introduced. All this we will discuss in this portion. I'm not going to get into all that today itself. Today, because already just hardly few minutes left, so I don't want to get into it. But I just want to leave you with certain thoughts so that we can take it fresh next week. You see, when you are discussing about the world, what is the world made up of? The five elements, okay? Space, air, fire, water, earth. The five elements. In which other way can you discuss about the world? Time, space, causation. Take away time, space, causation, there is no world. Isn't it? Right now, there is time, there is space, there is causation. I was born at a particular time on a particular day, in a particular place, to a certain parents. Time, space, causation. Every created object being cannot be separated from time, space, causation concept. So, world and time, space, causation cannot be separated. They're one and the same. So, world means time, space, causation. So, when we say we are going to now discuss about this world, we are going to discuss about time, space, causation. Then we are going to talk about the cause of this time, space, causation. Right. So, what would be the question then? When did this world begin? Where did this world begin? Why and how did this world begin? What is this when, where, why, how? They are nothing but time, space, causation. So Vedanta says, when you say, when did time begin? Is what you are asking when you say, when did the world begin? When did time begin? Can I say 8 o'clock it began? I can say 8 o'clock the class started. So you are putting time before time when you ask the question. Similarly, when you ask the question, where does this world begin? You are putting space before space. I hear it began. Here is a concept of space. Why did this world begin? It began from this. So who created that? So you get into that unsolvable chakra. Will be in logical fallacy. So you're putting causation before causation. So Vedanta says, you cannot ask this question, when did the world begin? Where did the world begin? Why did the world begin? Immediately we think, oh, Vedanta doesn't have an answer. Vedanta has no fear in admitting we have no answer. Actually, it has an answer. But it says, listen, we cannot answer this not because we don't have the vision, but this very question has a fallacy. You have to understand that. So you are going around in circles. The fallacy in this question, when did time begin? When did eternity begin? Time is infinite, eternal. Space is all pervading. Causation is endless. So time, space, causation, eternal, all pervading, endless. When did it begin? When did infinite begin? So how do you explain this? We get into this trouble. So how to solve this problem? What Vedanta does to solve this problem, Advaita Vedanta, what is its explanation for it, is what we are going to discuss, and then how slowly everything evolved and all that we'll discuss. But this is a little important, tricky place, tricky area in Vedanta. So we'll take it up fresh next week. Today I will not take it up. Especially now, hardly any minutes, 2 minutes are left. So, but this is what it is. When, where, why are nothing but time, space, causation. So when you say, when did the world begin? Where did the world begin? Why did the world begin? You are putting time before time, space before space, causation before causation. There's a logical fallacy in the very question. You cannot ask this question. And Vedanta says there is no answer. But we have one answer, explanation. What it is, we'll discuss next week. Let's conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.